Okay, how's it going?
I'm doing good. It's an honor to have you here on Players Guild, and join us here in our podcast. And I'm very excited to talk to you about your project and how it's coming along. And why don't you before we start, why don't you introduce yourself? And yeah,
Sure, definitely. My name is Matt. I'm the CEO of Warp and creator of ToastPunk. And yeah, my team and I, so we're from Australia, and we've got people all over the world basically that work with us to do various things from all sorts, game development, blockchain development, DeFi, a bit of gamify, and various other things. And recently we sold out a project called ToastPunk Genesis NFT, which is the second collection of the ToastPunk brand. And right now we are moving forward with Roadmap 2.0, which is our it's a game called Racer Club. And we kept it generic as far as the game is concerned because it is actually not going to be just a game for us. It's going to be game for the entire NFT community, and all sorts of collections are out there. But being a ToastPunk Genesis holder gets you early access into this game. So yeah, that's basically what we are doing right now, amongst other things. So we've got various other things we do in our company, such as assist other NFT projects to help launch, to get awareness, to help with Discord and Twitter and various other things out there. So yeah, that's what we mainly get up to every day, amongst all the other things.
that sounds awesome. And from what I've heard, Toastpunk started as a tradition in your kitchen with your kids. So
Correct. Correct.
so my first question is, of course, it's a very personal tradition with your kids. So looking
Yes,
back, how do you feel that something personal with your children is now being shared around the world?
I
What do
know.
you feel about that?
I feel amazing. Like look in the audience today as well. You see plenty of toast out there, and also in Twitter and everywhere else, right? So every time I look at a PFP out there with a toast, I know that I've done my duty as far as what we started the project for, or started the whole NFT journey for, which is essentially uh, um, you know, providing my memories into the next person's life and leaving a legacy behind that everyone can, I guess, feel personal to them as well. So each and every story, Kai, you were absolutely right that each story started because of my own I guess my own lifestyle, where I'm all about work, and Monday to Saturday to me is super busy, in my businesses, and the only time I actually allocate it for family time is on a Sunday, and that's how it all started. My wife would be sleeping, my kids would be up, I would go to the kitchen and whip up the easiest thing that we could, which is basically put up bread, cheese, and draw on some faces. And we started with some, normal faces like smiley faces and alien faces and all of that. And eventually, over the years, it grew to become Roblox inspired faces because my kids love Roblox so much, as all kids do today. And we got inspired from that there, and we started building all sorts of faces, and we do that every single year. And it was only last year, in the middle of last year, when my daughter came to me and said, "Hey, have you heard of NFTs?" And myself being in the tech space, I did not know anything about NFTs. I didn't know what was happening there. But my daughter showed me something that she saw on YouTube, that there was a pixel whale that sold for a couple $100,000, and I looked at it and went, how is that possible? And what is that about? And there must be something going on there. And I did further research into what NFTs are, obviously, found out that it was similar to crypto, but in a picture format, and you can actually add utility and so many other things to it. So from my perspective, I thought, this is a technology that is only starting out right now, and I'm in the tech space and I love tech, and to me, I knew that this could be a long-term tech, and something's coming up with it. And that's how I've started to venture into the Web3 space and learned a lot about what was going on, and all the cool stuff happening, also all the bad stuff happening, and how do you navigate all of that. So yeah, we launched our project, the first collection out there. I only started with about I think close to 100 followers that I had back then. And the moment I announced my story and what I was about to do, it just grew and it grew and it grew, and we got featured in the press, Market Watch, Digital Journal, etc. And from 100 it became 8,000, like in a few days. And the story kept on going and going and going, and we amassed, I think as of today, close to 60,000 followers after our second collection. But it just goes to show that, I think uh, being unique in this space is what's it about. It's what it's about. Like I've learned over time that there's so many derivatives and so many similar format PFPs. But yeah, us being Toast, the original Toast, is I think what makes us really special.
So, um, I would like to say very first of all, a congratulations for having your second collection sold out, and it's really awesome how something from nothing came into a very successful project. You have a very active community. You have a very successful run within the NFT space. So, what do you think is like what's like the biggest challenges for you? Because you started as you didn't know anything about NFTs,
Nope.
and now you're like you're very big in the NFT space. You have thousands of people who follows you. You have thousands of people who is part of the community. So yeah, what's like the biggest problem, and how did you overcome it into what it is now?
Okay, that's a good question. And I would say the biggest problem in NFTs today, but not just NFTs in general, right? It's the trust and the credibility that you build along the way. Um, Especially if you're looking at getting yourself familiar or known with lots of people. And in the NFT space, you need to build a massive community that agrees with what you're doing, understands what you're up to, and follows your journey all the way through. So with what I'm doing, with the problems, some of the problems I came across, and we've had many problems. Trust me, we had like Discord hacks, wallet hacks. We had FUD being spread around everywhere. We had like everything you name it that every other NFT project has gone past from a negative sense. We've gone through it as well. But it's about how you create solutions for them and how do you navigate all those problems to make them non-problems or make them opportunities. So I'm a by what I do in normal sense anyhow. I'm always a problem solver. I'm an entrepreneur. So I look at things and I go, there's always better ways to do things. We did our launch all the way through in a total different spectrum. So it was not like the traditional whitelist to whitelist, build up hype and push out and things like that. We intentionally did it that way because we wanted to prove to the NFT space that you don't need to focus at hype and focus at all those things there, and you can still achieve your outcomes of what you want. And ultimately, we are at a state where we are, we've got the outcome we want, which is a loving community of toasts. And from our perspective right now, everything's back with the holders. And what we got to do as project creators is provide value and do what we need to do, which is why we're building this game right now.
Yeah, so I saw that you started building on the Racer Club. So going to
Correct.
Racer Club, what's like the idea behind this? Because you started from a Toast, and now you're venturing into into another project,
Yeah, yeah,
which is a racing game. So
yep.
what's behind this?
Well, I'll tell you what is behind it. So this is what my community came back to me with. So we obviously did our roadmap 1.0. We've got one more completion aspect of roadmap 1.0, which is the upgradable pass airdrop, which we are ready to go with, but we're just waiting for OpenSea to fix a few things on their end. But Roadmap 2.0 was a blank canvas. It was, not announced on our website when people minted. It was not anywhere at all seen. And what we did was we asked the community. We just simply said, guys, what do you guys want? And a lot of people said, let's build a game, let's build, this, let's build that. And then ultimately everyone came to the conclusion of, let's build a racing game. And I said, cool, no problem. And all the community had to do was we want a racing game, and all I had to do was sit down with my team and work out how we're gonna build the best racing game ever. Not just a standard, like you can build anything you want really in this space, but anything that I do, typically I go into and I look at it and I go, I need to create something out of the box here that is suits our environment, suits where we are as far as Web3 is concerned, and build a really kick-ass game that everyone's gonna love and stay back on and be retained with. And I'll go through some of that later, of what's so special about our game.
Yeah, so there's really a lot of games that's being pushed out in the NFT space, and a lot of them really fails to deliver their promises. Like you have these people that promises awesome stuffs, but they didn't really give out the expectation that people want.
Absolutely.
So what do you think is the difference with your team and with your game, and how can you give the expectation of the people that supported you throughout this project?
Yeah, that's the question that I've been waiting for actually. So we've obviously when I build a tech solution, or to me it's a solution, right? This P2E game is a solution. I first look at the market. I first look at the issues of the market, the problems that the market is facing, and how do I provide something that is a solution for it. Okay. So what I found, exactly what you're saying, Kai. The problem today is that P2E games, they are really really hyped up. They build beautiful trailers, they build beautiful art. They come up with a great plan, and they hype the hell out of it with a big token drop, and then that goes really really well. Unfortunately, after the token launch happens, the players that actually use or actually play the game sort of drop off. And the reason, and then we've dug into deep, why is the reasons why players drop off a game. And it's very simple. There's just a few things around. Okay, it's one is called the nightclub effect, which is basically one player jumping from one nightclub to another. They keep on going to different games, and the other reason is mainly because of the rewards. Okay, the rewards are just far too small, and um, why are they small? Is because each token that gets launched, okay, there is like a massive supply. Usually there's a billion supply, or there is 10 billion supply, and it just keeps on going and going and going. Similar with the NFT side of things when you get the rewards. It's like 100,000 or 140,000. So what we found was having a massive supply from a token and from an NFT perspective is an issue. Okay, so we reverse worked out what we're gonna do in order to ensure that we can provide the rewards that are high and sustainable. First and foremost, our whole game, you don't need to create a new NFT. You use your existing NFT. Okay. So and for example, ToastPunk Genesis Racer Club, which is one of the title series games, the first one's going to be out. Everyone that has a ToastPunk Genesis NFT gets to use their existing NFT. They don't have to create a new one. Okay. Secondly, we are not even creating a new token. We are using an existing token that we already have, and we already established that with an integrated NFT vault called with the platform called NFTX. And it's as simple as integrating that ERC20 token in our game as the rewards. Okay, therefore once again not creating new supply, And anytime that you know how normal games are, you got to go to a pack store and buy something, and then you got to go to the rewards, and you got to get your rewards, and then you might need to go to a pack store and get it again. Whenever anyone goes to the pack store and buys something, all that liquidity is going back to the token pool. Okay, of that creates two effects. One is it creates the price of the token to go up, and it creates the whole NFT collection to go up as well because it is integrated. The token is integrated with the vault solution of the NFT collection. So it's kind of like helping two things at once. And and as I said, the other second thing is because they're using their own NFTs when they in game, and we've been discussing this lately with the game developers, when they enhance their NFT as far as attributes and stuff is concerned by getting good game XP and all that in game, the value of the NFT goes up. Okay, and that's their own NFT. Once again, not a new NFT. So that's our main difference here with call it a singular game. So the first level of the game. The second, the whole overarching layer of this is this. We are creating Racer Club, as I said earlier on at the very start, not just for our own holders. Our own holders is called, they're playing a game called ToastPunk Genesis Racer Club. But we are going to open up our game platform SDK architecture. So basically, think of a wireframe of a game. Think of a land parcel in the metaverse. Okay, that's how our game is going to be. It's going to be a SDK architecture with abilities to do your own settings for tokenomics, etc., etc. But then layer that with 3D assets of that is personal to a collection. So we're going to open that up. We just recently planned it out. It's probably going to be 2,500 title series games that we're going to allow people to mint. Okay, so a collection can mint one of those title series games, and therefore create their own title series game. So it could be Doodles Racer Club, it could be MAYC Racer Club, it could be CryptoPunks Racer Club, whatever. And ultimately, because we've already using the existing token from NFTX, which also has another 400 over collections there with about 1.6 million holders right now, active holders. It could be more than that if you count everyone else and everyone starts to wake up. It opens it up straight away to all these people. And what we call this is called a multi-community bridge that we're building. Okay, so that's the phase 2 layer of our whole game. So we'll have these multi-communities playing the Racer Club game in their own game, enhancing their own tokens, enhancing their own NFTs. And then for phase 3, this is where we're gonna bring in the big boys. We're gonna launch what we call a crossover metaverse, where all of a sudden ToastPunk racers can race in CryptoPunk racetracks and earn punk rewards, fractional punk rewards. CryptoPunks guys can come into ToastPunk and play in hours and earn ToastPunk TPGen rewards, and things like that. We're gonna have a massive crossover, which I call the Champions League of all P2E racing games, so to speak. So that's our key difference in a nutshell. I know it's a bit long-winded, but in a nutshell, we're building from bottom up instead of having a massive hype launch. We're gonna build a player foundational base first.
Yeah, I think that sounds awesome because it really you really want to retain your players if you want if you want the project to success because as you've said the main problem with multiple NFT games is they hype up their project and after a few months or even weeks the player base started to go down because
Exactly.
they don't see the value of the NFT. It started to go down. The tokenomics started to go
Correct.
down
Correct.
um, and and you really have a good idea on how to solve that. So that's really promising on these people because they know that you know that you understand the problem and you have a solution for it. So I think that's very awesome for your team. And one question that that the community brought up is will there be a scholar or ranking system in the racer club? Would that
So yeah,
is that
yeah. So
something that
that's
yeah.
that's that's a great question. So obviously, there's a lot of guilds out there, right? Such as yourself, and such as we've got a few friendly guilds as well that we know of throughout our journey. We've met a lot. In fact, I met the number one Axie Infinity player in the world used to be, and he lives in Melbourne. And he started his own DAO, his own guild DAO, which is like for players. He does exactly what you guys do, which is sponsor scholars and put them through games and things like that. Uh, Obviously, we will be collaborating with just maybe one or multiple different guilds to help educate, train our holders, our players, and build it up accordingly. Definitely, but there's the gaming element to it as well, which we got to be super sensitive on. Either way, definitely, we're all about collaborations. We're all about opening up. We know that to make it in this space, you need to collaborate with like-minded people around and push forward that way. So right now we don't have our own, but we aim to definitely partner up with various scholar or guilds.
So yeah, for those people who are asking who if there's gonna be a scholar entrance system, I think those answered that quite beautifully. So yeah, why don't you tell us more about the Research Club and um, how is the development so far up to this day,
Oh wow,
and what
wow,
have
that's
you?
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. In fact, I just finished the development meeting before, and I've got a development meeting after this as well. So it's been hectic, right? Because our actual development started probably a couple of weeks ago. Not the development, the scoping side of stuff. And we didn't like from our perspective, we didn't go through any funding. We just started and we just got it going, right? But the more and more I'm looking at this right now, so we will most likely, I would say, definitely in quarter two of 2022, which is before June 2022, we will have this first game out, the first title series game out called ToastPunk Genesis Racing Club. And the development process has been actually really smooth because the team competence levels of who you're dealing with, definitely, in any environment, we bring up Jira, we go through the whole development one-on-one process. Like, I love it, especially when the team challenges what my ideas and my CTO's ideas are. And they do that often enough to the sense where we come up with greater and newer ideas. So, um, the process so far has been rigorous. I would say we've gone all the way detailed down into the possibilities of what happens when like particular people bump into each other, cars bump into each other, the lagging, the ping, the all sorts of things. Like it goes through. It's been non-stop, right? But I'm confident that we're going to deliver a really lovely and fun and interactive race game that's gonna be cool. I kept my guys busy so far with SmashCards.io, which is not our game, obviously, but it's someone else's. They've been playing that a lot, and I'm getting a lot of like temporary feedback about what they like about the game and things like that. Ours is not gonna be a Smash game per se. It's gonna be more a racing dependent game, and it's gonna be quite a lot of strategic things and mind playing things as well. Like there's a lobby you start off with, and your because there's attributes you can boost up and things like that. You might want to not boost it before in the lobby, and you boost it only in the game so that other people don't look at you and go, oh, I'm scared of this person at the start. But one of the critical things that we've been focused a lot is the tokenomics and how the internal operations of the game rewards work. Because not only we had earlier I mentioned before that we're using our existing tokens and we're using our existing NFTs. That's cool, but you still need to design a I guess a pool allocation or rewards allocation in game that allows for maximum output back to the players without detrimenting the income or the internals of the game, if you know what I'm saying, the balancing act between in and out, right? And I'm quite amazed because I think we achieve a level, and I'm saying this over and over again, and that's the challenge that I'm putting to my team all the time, right? I know from a standard benchmarking test that we've done versus, for example, a Pegasus or any of the other bigger games out there, which is standard at around $300 a month, is what a rewards can be made by $300 to $400 a month in terms of token value. What individual player can earn just with the same sort of game time, the same sort of game experience, the same sort of game skill in applicable to ours, it's around the $800 at the low end, up to even $2,000 at the top end. Okay, and that's just for like that's excluding staking, it's excluding NFT asset sales. It's just your game reward. So the difference there is we're going to have all these underdeveloped countries crossing over to the developed countries that are going to look at this game and go, hey, you know what? I can actually earn not just a side income, potentially a close to a full-time income with this here by just playing this game. And that's where we think that our retention value is going to be high. So yeah, that's so far the whole sort of journey what we're going through, and day on day and day, we're concentrating more and more to ensure that we achieve all those milestones and tickets and everything else that we need to do. But yeah, we are fully concentrated on that right now.
Yeah, I think that sounds awesome. I think the team is working perfectly with what you envision for the project. So, in a follow up question with that, of course, not all the time it's going smoothly. But did it happen that while you were developing the project, you have a certain idea, but when you tried to implement it, you went in a completely different direction from your original idea for the certain part of the game? Is
Uh,
there any instances that did that happen? And what do you think?
Um, yep.
Yeah.
Well, we're not so far in it yet. I'm sure that will happen for sure. But the key way of how we do that. So just FYI, my background, as I said early on, is software development and software solutions development. So we always will either advise a client or either make one for ourselves, where it's very easy to go off tangent, is what you're talking about. The good thing is my team and I have worked closely on this on previous things as well in the past, where we always bring ourselves back to our original scope versus jumping out of scope. We do this really well with the agile, what we call a streamline uh, um, uh, project outline. So we just don't go out of that scope. Now, if we do go out of that scope, we question ourselves and say, is that necessary or not necessary at this stage? So as far as you know, going off a tangent and coming up with something else that is not part of the original idea, that does happen, I would say. But if it happens for the benefit of it to be better without jeopardizing, potential budget or potential scoping, then it's okay. But if it does do that, then obviously we wind ourselves back and go back to the original plan. As I said, we've got like many years of experience with application developments and keeping within the scope. So I'm pretty sure I'm confident that we always keep within our lanes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this is a question from the community. So, of course, nothing is set in stone. So,
Yeah.
what they're asking if it happens that the launch of the game didn't turn out as there are very few fans that follows the project, or the investor didn't come as big as you plan it to be. What will
Yep.
be the next step to kind of get the project out there?
Well, that's a very good question actually. So we've got a funding or budget allocation that we've already put aside specifically for making the game. So we know that making the game is not going to be an issue. But what we've also have, in fact, we can do that, but we're going to go for a bigger, and that's where my meeting next week, I believe, with a few different other VCs is going to be quite important. All I can say is this, our team is always going to work as hard as we can to push forward, like we always have, and we're going to continue to do that no matter what. But yeah, as long if that doesn't happen on next week's success rate, I think it will happen and it will be really really good. But if it doesn't happen, at least our guys got a game to play, next week. Once we're done, our holders will definitely have one for sure.
Oh yeah, I think the person who asked that already got the answer. I think that's an awesome perspective to look at. So going off the topic a little bit, you actually I think you how do I say this? You actually I don't know how to phrase this one.
Just say it, no problem.
You actually tweeted something about Earth Day 2022,
Correct, correct.
and yeah, and uh, what's your thought on how we can evolve the NFT space or the Web3 space without having a very big impact on our planet, as you've said. What are your thoughts on that?
You actually when I tweet something, just FYI, for the people that I see my tweets, it's actually I don't tweet it because I just tweet whatever. I actually have something that I'm actually up to behind the tweet, usually, okay? And in fact, what I'm doing there with that tweet is I'm working with those people there to the guys that I tweeted on in order to offset carbon for our collection, so both our collections and the game as well. One of the things that because we're going to be running on the blockchain, we know that ETH ETH 2.0 is going to be cleaner. It's going to be a little bit more cleaner than current one. However, we still got to do our part, no matter what it is. And like today is just a reminder that that what we're doing is using a lot of power in the world. Some will say more power than one of the smaller countries in the world as well. And all we got to recognize is a reminder to ourselves that you know that's what's happening. We know for a fact down the track it's going to be much better. Like any evolution of any industry or new industry that comes across, Web3 is so early. Um, all we can do is remind ourselves and say, hey, we still got planet Earth to look after as well. But that's our main values anyway. ToastPunk always, ensures that we not just care, about us. It's always about giving back. It's always about, whether it's to the community or whether it's to, other projects or whether it's to planet Earth. These are the things we got to think of. So, that tweet today was just a reminder for everyone to remember that, that we live actually in a real world where climate change is happening. A lot of things that in the world we can't forget also we've got wars going on right now as well, and be more empathetic towards those things there. So that was my sentiment there with that.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome perspective that your team have because you really knows what the problem are not only in the NFT world but also in the real world, and you use your influence to actually get messages out there for people here. So I think that's very very awesome. So going back to Racer Club.
Yes.
Wait, here's a question. So, sorry, I had this note on my part. So,
No
um,
problem, man.
uh, do you have any games that you take inspiration in for the Racer Club, and what games did you take inspiration from, if there's any?
That's a good question. So I'm not a gamer myself. I tell a lie. I actually used to play FIFA a lot in my spare time as a sort of stress relief kind of game that I play. And actually ranked pretty high up in the world playing that. But ever since NFTs obviously did not have the time, my son's now taken over my Xbox, and he's just doing all of that. I actually did take some stuff from FIFA, from the pack store. So that's why our Racer Club has a pack store. It's called a pack store as well. So you open up packs and it comes out looking like cards and things like that. So that side of things I took inspiration from FIFA. Um, and from the racing side of things, to be honest, um, there's no particular game. We sort of looked at obviously the mainstream stuff, Mario Karts. We looked at a bit of SmashCarts.io and a few others, but my game devs that we're working with, they got something pretty cool and unique that they're looking at doing ourselves. Once again, it's going to be a simple game to start off with. We don't want to overcomplicate it. the good thing is, as I said earlier on, the whole basis and the whole premise of the game is we're gonna build for another 2,500 other collections out there as well, right? And we want to make sure that it's gonna be great. So it's a constant evolution of the game. It'll be like a version update that we can enhance everywhere, all the different title series games out there. So yeah, in inspiration wise, I did not particularly take anything from any of the racing games. I did take some from FIFA, from the packs and all of that, from the packs, so, opening the animations, the collection of it, the usability of it, and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So we got a few minutes left. I think we have like 9 minutes left. So correct me if I'm wrong on this one. So as our final question, you've said that there's a reserved collection that I think the funding will go to charities. If I'm correct.
Correct,
From what I
correct. In
heard
my
on
original
your
collection, correct, correct,
yeah.
absolutely correct.
So and you want to like have this option for like very big prizes and like really make a difference in the real world. So what are the thoughts behind this? Because not a lot of NFT projects do this. Not a lot of them are going to charities and giving back. What are the thoughts behind this decision on
So
giving
so what?
back
So I'll
to
tell you what.
charity?
One of the key things is this. Okay, I'm gonna say this here. Um, that OG collection that we have 10 OGs at the very end. So number 991 all the way to 1,000. So that's the OG collection one. Those are earmarked for individual in real life auctions. We were hoping it was going to happen earlier. It's taken a bit longer. We are fine with it. Okay, but charity, the word charity is used, I think, today in a way where it's so widespread. I think, and this actually related to one of the tweets that I did yesterday as well. I was amazed, and I did mention that I'm so proud when I did that, because a lot of people say, ToastPunk, we do a lot of giveaways, we give, that's how we get our engagement and etc. That's actually nonsense, because we did a tweet yesterday that I just mentioned the word, that who's going to help here for charity, who's going to help one of our other community members. And that tweet was actually the highest tweet engagement for the day versus the other ones that are actually giving out. So what that means is we've actually instilled charity into each and every holder of ours, or each of our community members. Okay, to me, this is bigger than us just collecting all the money and giving it to one charity. You know what I'm saying? Because we've educated our holders to become a mindset where, if we can help out, we can do something, we can make a difference in the world. That's what we're going to do. So the word charity to me, in that essence, means that. Okay. Now, as far as project, we've currently till date put every single thing back to the community and for our project funding. We have not, like, I've got our CFO down at the bottom. He will advise it to you today as well. We have not taken anything out for ourselves at all. Okay, and the reason for that is because we wanted to reserve everything back for the community, give them the right education, and keep the final balance for charity, and that's it. So yeah, that's my sentiment of how I like to transcend the word charity. It's not just about, anyone can do that, right? Like, I can go into my bank account today and take something and just give it to one charity. But what does that really mean? I think the whole process and the whole journey of what we're doing as ToastPunk and in our whole collection here is far more greater than the just giving to one charity. That's it. I have now, to think about it, we have now 1,000, 2,000 people that are out there. When they grow up, when they have that extra wealth, when we help them create the wealth through their NFTs or whatever it is, the next thing they're going to think of is, hey, how can I help back? How can I give a charity, whether it's helping a friend, a family member, someone in need, a animal welfare, or the poor, or whatever. At least that is in their mind, and I think that's the deliverable of what we're gonna have a big tick for.
I think that's an awesome perspective that you have because what I noticed with other projects is they're using the word charity to just mask their own greed for what for the project
Correct.
for the project because they said that they're giving a charity but it's just going in their own bank account. So that's something that that others
No, no,
that other
a
projects
lot of
have
them do
done.
that. A lot of them do that for
Yeah,
tax saving
yeah,
reasons. That's it. It's
yeah.
very
They're
commercial.
using the
It's
word
very, very
charity for
commercial.
that.
You
So
know.
it's a
Um,
very refreshing take on your part because you actually do your best to give back to your community, to give value to your NFTs, and I think that's a very awesome thing that you're doing because a lot of NFT project dies out because they don't give value to their holders. They don't engage with their community. They don't give back to the people who supported them. That's why people kind of like leaves the project, and that's essentially how a project dies. So
yeah.
it's really refreshing to have this conversation with you because I learned a lot on how you manage this thing and your perspective, and it really gives me comfort that there's people that things like this who value their supporters. So I think yeah, that's what I
Thank
think
you.
on your community. So yeah, Matt, thank you for having this podcast with us. If you have anything to say to your supporters, to your community, yeah, you can, yeah, the stage is yours if you want to say something to them.
Nah, I really appreciate it, Kai. Nah, I just want to say, thanks for having us. We've been talking to you guys as well for we helped, I think, in one of the other AMAs we had impromptu one, which worked out really well as well. Yeah, I think it's really great for communities like us to connect. We're an NFT project, you're a guild. Um, there's definitely a lot of future things we can do and help each other with. So from our perspective, all I gotta say is this: maybe give a couple of updates to everyone that's here and what's going on with the ToastPunk Racer Club project. So we're at the stage right now where we are ticking off a lot of the boxes to start dev work, like proper dev work into it to get some demos out. So over the next week, 2 weeks, there potentially could be some trials and tests that I need to get some help from the community. That's how we built it this whole week as well. I've always been asking the questions, voting polls in Twitter, and you guys have been so awesome in answering all of them there to help us decide on a lot of things. One of the key things we're going to do is, as I said, we've got sufficient to go to build this and to get this out there. But let's make this an awesome project. Let's make this actually, you know what? I'm going to use the word which I hate to use. Let's hype the hell out of this, okay? And what I mean by hype is I know I can back it up with, the player foundation because once again, we're going to do it where we're going to focus a lot at the core values and the multi-community build with the different communities that can come on and start their own game. But yeah, we're looking forward to next week. Next week's going to be, I think, our CFO and our CTO, we got a few meetings lined up, which are like powerhouse meetings. If they all tick off really well, then it all goes for well. One more other thing I want to say and add is this, a lot of you guys have been, obviously, we looked at we set ourselves a target of one ETH floor by the end of April. We've got 8 days left, 9 days left right now. We've been obviously given a hurdle with OpenSea. 7 8 days non-trading down there with our wallet issues, which they're still not helping us settle as fast as possible. Either way, it's so amazing to see everyone just push forward. But this just shows that everyone in our community knows that it's not like the value of our NFT is not the floor price. It's not the TP Gen token price. It's nothing that. The value of the NFT is you, is the community, and what you guys do to move forward, and the more you guys embed with what is going on. And know what's going on. Like this is critical. Listening back to these YouTube videos, jumping into the AMAs, looking at my announcement, looking at my tweets, all that sort of stuff keeps you understanding where we're heading. And I've got no issues. When the game comes up, I know for a fact that if we can provide one NFT where you hold an NFT, you go in there and you play a game and you can earn between $800 to $2,000. Like think of the value of that asset. That asset that you have is not going to be worth what it is right now. It's going to be worth way more than that. Like if you're an Uber driver, you got a car that is $30,000 and it's making you $400 a week. Look at that ratio there. The thing with the car, though, the car is going down in value, right? NFTs only go up in value. So I think from a ToastPunk Genesis perspective, we will reach a comfortable, floor of what we want to achieve. But I'm gonna say this right now: the OG ToastPunk has an even higher and bigger benefit there because obviously, the OG ToastPunk is part of the going to be formulated from the DAO. They're going to be taking in about 15% of the game, and because the OG is not particularly associated with anything right now except for its original story for ToastPunk, and it has all these cool, merch stuff coming up, and gas rebates and airdrops and this and that. I think the world's the oyster with the OG. I think the OG will skyrocket to something crazy after this launch of the game because it is like the true and genuine original 1000 ToastPunks, so yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Is an update of what I've been working through with my team with lately. And yeah, obviously, we've got a giveaway going on as well, always as we do. Feel free to jump back into our Discord after this, and we can announce the winners there. And what else I can say is this: yes, we've got full spaces lined up in the next 1, 2, 3 days. So yeah, there's a lot going on as well. So just keep in tune with the announcements. Other than that, just gonna say, guys, have a great day. Be who you are, and happy Earth Day today.
Thank you, Matt, for being with us here in Players Guild, and we'll be keeping a close eye on the project, and we look forward to possibly working with Racer Club. So yeah, thank you everyone
Absolutely.
for joining. Thanks you for the Toast Monks that joined us today, and I hope you learned something because I definitely did. I got some new information with Matt, and yeah, thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Have a great evening or morning, everyone.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
thank you
much.
everyone.
Thank you very much, Kai, for
Thank
having
you
us.
everyone. Thank you,
Thank you,
Matt.
mate. Have a good one. Cheers, buddy. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye, everyone.